Today's project is a spiral bowl 1 kilo size. This is a simple, functional bowl suitable for everyday use in the home or restaurant. It is also a good way to measure your own skill improvement as a potter. The process is straightforward, but there are several important points to keep under control, making it a good challenge for improving your technique and timing. For this project, I use 1 kilo stoneware buff clay mixed with 10% lava clay, which gives the bowl a nice fleckled texture. I throw the bowl on a small throwing bed attached to the wheel with thinly spread clay. To start, I make a cone shape to equalize the clay density and center it. I press the top of the cone from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock with the edge of my right hand. Then I place both hands at the bottom of the clay and squeeze and lift it up vertically, slightly offset, so the clay follows a spiral easily. When I press the cone down, both elbows are heavily anchored on the wheel splash pan. My wheel setting is higher than usual to avoid getting back pain, so I cannot use my thighs to support my arms. That's why there is a pipe insulation on the wheel splash pan, which makes my elbows comfortable. I put back the soft clay at the middle part, which accumulated on my right thumb. This becomes a good lubricant. When I feel the clay is smooth and centered, it's a time for making the base. To make the base, I press the clay with the edge of my right hand, angled towards 10 o'clock. If I press it down, it creates a mushroom shape and starts to trap air under the clay. My left hand also keeps the top part of the clay in position to prevent the mushroom shape. The clay becomes a large smooth disc, and I set the bottom size to 12 cm, which is my hand plus 2 fingers. I make a center hole with my right thumb and left index finger, which gives extra pressure. I leave 7 mm of bottom thickness. Then I'm going to open the center hole wider. I use a wooden rib to compress the bottom, and at the same time I'm measuring the bottom size to be 10 cm. My wooden rib is 5 cm, so when the rib fills half space, that is the size I want. The first pull is always light and just make the wall straight and even. I compress the top from 3 directions to keep a firm edge. The second pull can be much stronger. My right ring finger is placed at the bottom of the wall and digs into the wall. The clay on top of this finger is going to be lifted up. Same action. The right middle and index fingers are firmly attached to the ring finger to make a straight line. My thumbs are interlocked to make both hands into one tool. When I reach the top, I fold the edge by pushing it from the inside, then pass it over to my right hand. I make sure no air is trapped inside. This technique creates a strong, visually gentle rim. I use a point gauge to match the size with other balls. This is the final stage for the stretch. I make sure the wall is thin as I make a spiral decoration so I cannot trim it. I'm making a clean straight wall with a wooden rib. This process can be skipped if I'm making many pots in one go. Otherwise, I like to make a fresh start between the processes. I need to compress the rim with a chamois leather before I open the rim wider. Now I open the rim with one of my favorite tools, gyubera, which means ox tongue. I stretch from the top down, while my left hand supports the board from the outside. The gyubera's end is nicely curved, so the bottom shape follows its curve. Let's see again. My left hand is always supporting the outside. This helps to keep the ball shape under control. I compress with a chamois leather between the stretch. This makes the rim firmer. I check the diameter, which should be 20 cm. I need to open up a bit more. My left index finger sets the position where the rim should be. I hold the gyubera until the rim touches my finger. It's easy to overstretch if there is no target. I trim the bottom to cut later with string, and also it is much easier to have a clean circle when I do top centering for trimming. To make a spiral mark, I lock both my thumbs to make one tool. My right index and middle fingers have a 5 mm gap, and my left middle finger is set between those at the opposite side of the wall. I slowly move my hands up, and when I reach the top, I stay there until the rim settles in a nice circle. Last check of the size. I make a spiral mark at the bottom to match the rest of the part. Now time to trim the bottom. As I wanted to make a spiral mark, the wall is already thin and doesn't need trimming. So I just need to make a foot ring for this ball. As I mentioned earlier, a clean circle is good for centering. If the circle's edge is uneven, my eyes cannot judge the center easily by the disruption. I secure the bowl with 3 pieces of clay. It's better to hold the bowl, then press the clay to the wheel. If I press the clay to the bowl first, it might break a fragile greenware bowl. I use this spinner to hold the pot. There is a bearing between the discs, so while the bottom part is spinning with the pot, the top disc stays still under my finger. It doesn't hurt my finger. I marked the outside footring line, which is my hand size. Then, first of all, I trim the clay straight down, so I can see the clear shape of the footring. Next step is to connect the footring and main part with a natural curve. Now I'm going to trim the inside of the footring. I make the footring thicker than I want in the beginning, then trim down to a thinner footring later. I'm checking the bottom thickness by the hardness of the clay. The clay's resistance becomes softer. That is the time to stop the trimming. Then I finalize the footring size. I polish and compress the bottom with a wooden tool. This makes the trimmed surface stronger. This bowl is very simple to make, but the challenge is not being able to trim the body part. I need to make a thin, light wall. It's a good way to analyze my own skills progress.